Welcome everybody to round one in Bahrain. So tonight is Bahrain, and with me is Josh Knott and Ruan Bronkhorst.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for having me, Quentin. I really appreciate it.
How's it going, everyone? Let's enjoy this race. Quentin, thanks for the invite, man.
Great, man. Okay, so as you guys can see, we have the speed trap right at the end of the final straight, going into a right-left combo into sector 1, where we have a DRS zone. There's actually 3 DRS zones on this map, indicated by those green stripe lines to the side of the track. There's another DRS zone in sector 3 on that long straight, and then coming around the last bend you have another final DRS zone on the final straight. Now you have those DRS detection zones. That is actually where it is detected whether or not the driver ahead of you is within that 1 second gap that he needs to be in order to actually activate his DRS zone. All right, so with that being said, we're going to jump right into the track overview. Enjoy it.
The 2016 Bahrain Grand Prix is the 12th running of the race on the Gulf Island nation and the 3rd since it switched to a night race. The drivers start their laps by accelerating along the 1 kilometre pit straight. In 2015 they were hitting 330 kilometres an hour before hitting the brakes, one of the biggest stops of the F1 season for the 70 kilometre an hour turn 1. This will also be the main overtaking spot in the race. Turn 2 follows immediately and the drivers accelerate up through the right-hand kink of 3 before building up to 300 kilometres an hour and then slamming the brakes into 4. This is a good place to overtake if you've been passed into turn 1. The next sequence of sweeping downhill bends comes in quick succession. Turns 5, 6 and 7, testing the aerodynamics of the car. The drivers will be doing 250 kilometres an hour when they arrive into the braking zone for the right-hander at turn 8 in second gear. Then it's a short squeeze on the power up to 9 and 10, which form a tricky double apex left-hander. The drivers shift down to 80 kilometres an hour in second gear. The back straight features a second DRS zone. The drivers hit 315 kilometres an hour by the time they reach turn 11, a sweeping uphill left-hander. After taking a wide line on the exit, turn 12 forms a tricky 7th gear right, and the drivers will then be straight on the brakes to nail the apex of turn 13, 125 kilometres an hour at the top of the ride. It's important to get a good exit on the following straight, as the drivers were building up to top speed of 305 kilometres an hour last year. Turns 14 and 15 form the difficult final corner back onto the pit straight. The drivers will brake to 120 kilometres an hour in third gear as they try and carry as much speed as possible through the corner. Then it's back up through the gears for the blast down the pit straight and another lap of the Bahrain International Circuit.
Welcome back, as we have introduced to a pit lane view of the Bahrain circuit here. My guest commentators tonight, obviously, as I mentioned, is Ruan Bronkhorst and Josh Knott. Welcome and thank you for joining.
Like we said before, thank you for having us, Quentin. We are excited, both of us, for being here.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. So yeah, just as a quick mention to our spectators tonight, we do do the commentary post race, and that is in order for us to provide you with the correct stats and all of that stuff after the fact, and add all of the nice little features that we do. But we will be commentating like we seeing everything for the first time. Okay, great. So that being said, we're seeing as the first couple of cars heading out on track now.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are getting their setups ready, getting their setups on. And if I may say, there's a couple of corners that these guys need to be really careful with. I mean, turn 1, if you mount it too much, you could spin. And then turns 9 and 10, if you outbrake yourself going into 9, you are totally messed for 10. And then also turn 11, if you come into that corner with too much speed, you can easily go off and get a track extension warning.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And as you guys both know that these Formula 2 cars drive completely different to the Formula 1 cars.
Yeah.
You have to be very gentle with applying the throttle out of corners and also coming into a corner. You have to be quite gentle with the application of the brakes, as they do tend to lock up quite easily, and that will allow the back end to then step out on you. So it does take a lot of seat time to actually get used to these cars.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
definitely.
correct. Yeah, these cars are heavier as well. So you need to start braking earlier as well, as towards the F1 cars, as these are basically the GT cars that just got some more downforce, a little bit lighter as well.
Right, as we see Josh out now starting his quick lap.
Josh looking pretty in pink there.
Yeah, as I quickly bring up Josh's card. So, just for the viewers at home, how this season works is we have a bit of a fantasy league element to it. So we have team principals managing both an F1 and an F2 team, and they all started with a $16 million budget, of which they then had to recruit both Formula 2 drivers and both Formula 1 drivers. So as we can see that Josh here got driver 1 for HWA at a contract value of 125,000 for the season. So very nice for him. We also see that there's a skill indicator. Currently, you'll see that on all drivers, this is 0. Now, as the season progresses, the maximum value that this can have is a skill point out of 20, because there's 20 drivers on the grid. So the closer you get to obviously finishing first, the higher your skill will be. So as we look at the drivers' cards throughout the seasons, you will be able to see how consistently well they finish both in qualifying and race conditions.
Yeah, definitely. And also something also to note for the viewers is that you'll notice that some teams only have one driver. So yeah, I think these guys today will definitely feel a little bit of the pressure with the need to perform, as we're watching Dennis Hemnick going on his flying lap at the moment.
Yeah, Dennis there setting Josh setting your first lap out there is the fastest lap so far. Dennis currently on a $560,000 contract for this season.
Yeah, so Josh, I just wanted to ask you, what was your thoughts going out on the medium tires first? As usually with track acclimation, you want to start with the hards, get the rubber out on the track, and then go out on the softer compound to get the faster time on.
For me, I noticed straight away that there wasn't a soft compound in general. It was either hards or mediums. So for me, when I do a lap and I'm coming out first,
we see Ruan there hitting the losing it a bit there and hitting into the corner there. Sorry for interrupting you there, Josh.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, Ron obviously losing a bit of the back end there a little bit as he continues his lap. Yeah, I mean, when I go out to set a bunker first, and then if I can better that, then I'll try to do that. So my thought pattern mainly wasn't really about what tires I was on. It was more about consistency, because I knew if I could get that nailed, then I could pretty much.
Yeah, so like get out quick and set a banker at least while there's little traffic. I hear you. Yeah, so Ruan's strategy is a little bit different. He goes out on the hard compound first to get some rubber on the track and get the track acclimation, increased. And once there's a lot of rubber on the track, and he's gotten himself, comfortable with the track, he then goes out on the mediums to start setting his actual fast lap. And I think this strategy is adopted by most of the drivers. As you can see, there are maybe just 5 drivers that went out on the mediums first.
Yeah. And I don't know, something that I've found for myself driving is that not to give anything away, but I think just as far as like the tire performance and that kind of thing, it kind of varies track to track. And I found that going on the mediums and going on a second set of mediums, I'm gonna stop right there. But yeah, I found that I was just struggling a tiny bit on those mediums,
Mm. You
and
can see Leandro. Sorry. Yes, sorry, Josh.
as Leandre said, so
Fastest lap there for a
Yeah.
140.3. Yeah.
On the
sorry, I
hard
can't
compound.
talk.
On the hard. Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah,
blistering fast.
Can you maybe bring up Leandre's race card
yeah,
for us?
Yeah,
Driver
let's
card.
have a look. Oh, look at that. So Alejandre was actually recruited by Charisse and ended up being, if I'm not mistaken, the most expensive Formula 2 driver this season with a contract value of $1 million.
Yes, that was quite an expensive driver, to be honest.
oh yeah, and I've raced against Leandre before, and he is so quick.
Yeah, Leandre
Yeah.
is very quick. He is a
Definitely,
he's a
yeah, he's definitely deserving of that 1 million price tag. I'm just saying.
for sure. Yes, he's also my teammate in another league, and he has mentored me quite a bit. He is really a good driver.
Yeah, one thing I also like about the F2 is that it's actually a lot closer racing, which I thoroughly enjoy.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because I've driven in other leagues and I always tend to lag at the back when the other guys are like 5, 6 laps ahead. So
Well,
I
Ruan,
like both.
with Leandre being one of the most expensive drivers this season, do you think he's going to be one of the favorites for the F2 Championship this season?
Well, I would definitely hope so for his team principal,
Mm,
as he did cost him a lot of money. But I do think he's going to be one of the favorites. Yes,
Yeah, for sure. You definitely want a return on your investment, that's for sure.
definitely
yeah,
yes.
definitely. Yeah.
All right, as we're seeing Arkid now finally hitting out, he's one of the last guys to actually hit out on a fast lap here today. As we pull up his contract card for the season, he's also in driver one seat at 550,000 for the season.
Yeah, I've also raced against Arkad a few times as well, and he's also very quick. But at the same time, he also has his share of bad luck, which I know how it feels. So yeah, I hope he really does do well today, and let's see if he can get a bit of the luck of the Irish on his side today, even though he's not Irish. But yeah,
Right.
As
At
his
the
team
current moment, Leandre seems to be having it all his way, being 1.2 seconds ahead of Dennis.
yes.
yeah.
Sorry, Quentin. Can I just ask you maybe the red block? There we
Sorry
go.
about that.
No problem. As we're on board with Josh again. So, Josh, your favorite part of the track, which would you say? Sector 1, 2, or Sector
Mm,
3?
I think personally for me, I think more sector two, because as you get to, I think it's just as you come around turn 9 and 10, and you just going into coming to the end of sector two. I think that's probably my favorite section. Um,
Yeah, same with
because,
me.
yeah, because I mean, for especially with these cars for sector two going into turn 9 and 10, you have to brake early enough into nine to make sure you get the car turned in nicely. Because if you misjudge, like I said earlier, if you misjudge turn nine, you are gonna go wide or into the wall
As we
at turn
see
10.
Josh abandon his lap there. Yeah, so Ruan, which you said you also prefer Sector 2. Is that for the same reasons as Josh just mentioned?
Yes, Sector 2 is a faster sector, so there's there's less quick corners on there. It's a fun sector to drive as well. You can push the car a little bit more there. Um, and for some reason, that is also where I'm usually the quickest. So, if you get that little purple block in Sector 2, it's a satisfying feeling, I must say.
Right,
Yeah.
we have Mohammed Faizan on screen from India. He was also one of the more expensive drivers at $850,000 for this season. Obviously, he's team principal, hoping to see good things from him this season.
Yeah, definitely. So Mohammed, uh, yeah, he's a quick driver. I've seen him drive before. Very aggressive driver, and I think that driving style, a lot of guys are usually afraid of an aggressive driving style.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
We see
think
a lot of the guys currently in the pits. We only have about 4 guys out at the moment. Do you think they're just kind of weighing up the competition at this stage with about 17 minutes left on qualification?
I think what's happening now is the guys were out and they have run out of fuel. As you can't control the fuel with these cars at all, you obviously need to go back into the pits to fuel up again to get your extra 5 laps, because you only can do about a maximum of 3 hot laps with these cars with the amount of fuel that they give you.
yeah, I think it's also some of them are waiting. I think till the last little section of time, just to see how the track evolves.
You think there's a
Um,
little bit of sandbagging involved here, like you don't want to give away your car to your game too quickly to the rest of the field.
yeah,
As we see
exactly.
Mohammed improve on his time, they're moving up to P6.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Mohammed's a very quick driver. Oh, sorry, like Ron said, and yeah, if if he gets to a headspace where he's in clear air, he's going to be gone. It's going to be very difficult to catch him.
As we looked at Reese there, we had him briefly on screen there for a second, moving out of the way of Ruan as Ruan goes past. It's nice to see the guys, having such nice sportsmanship and getting out of the way of the drivers that are currently on a hot lap.
Yeah,
Definitely, I must say the guys are very courteous to each other, if I can call it that. They do stay out of your way. If they're out on a hot lap, they will get off the track if they need to. The sportsmanship is very professional, I must say.
yeah, definitely. They definitely keep their check check their rear view mirrors if they have them set up on in the game. Either that or they have their proximity arrows. I do know that some of them don't have their proximity arrows on, and I suppose it is looked at as an assist. But yeah, I mean, if it works for you and it helps you judge where people are better, then yeah, if not,
Josh, so do you guys keep the mini map when you guys drive? Do you keep it on like to see the full map, or do you have it as only on that sector that you're busy driving, or do you have the map off completely?
for me personally, I have the map on only the section that I'm driving in, because for me it's a bit, it kind of draws the eye away from what you're doing, and it can become very distractive.
Right.
Definitely, I do agree with you there. I've also got that on the sector only.
Yeah, for me, I tend to have it on the full map as I like to glance over just to get an idea of how far ahead either the competition or uh, are on the track, or what's kind of happening on track. You can very quickly see when people are heading into the pits and kind of work out your strategy accordingly on the fly, being able to get an overview like that.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
definitely.
I think I might try the full mini map sometime.
Mm,
But
I think I will too, but I think, yeah, sorry, go for it.
just something to add on to what Josh said earlier about the proximity arrows. Once you're in a race, it's very difficult to concentrate on the proximity arrows, because you focus on in front of you and what's going on onto the next corner. You're either checking the entry of the next corner or the exit of the next corner. And if there is someone next to you, that's a personal thing of mine. Is I don't always check my proximity arrows because I'm focused on what's going on ahead of me.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of drivers actually guilty of that, because you kind of get a little bit of tunnel vision,
Definitely.
with regards to being so focused, and especially if you get into like a three-way battle with a car ahead of you, you might not be paying that much attention to the car behind you.
For sure,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
All right,
I think
so let's see. So
Nico-
Adrian is currently not on a very quick lap there. You see, Dennis is currently making another out lap attempt. Tristan is currently on a faster lap, currently improving by 1/100th of a second there.
Yeah, it was also out on the mediums.
Yeah.
Tristan, get his name right. Tristan seems to be quite quick as well, which is very good to see, because I know that for me personally, while I was looking for setups and stuff, there are not a lot of setups for F2, um, which I feel is slightly concerning, which I hope they put into the next game, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
it's just
actual,
because F2 is not that popular though. So
That's correct.
can let's discuss Tristan. Currently at a 500,000 for his contract, eh?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
he's obviously got what it takes to be in the league and be fast, which is always a good thing. Yeah, I think he's going to do well, and I know that I haven't raced against him before, but I think it's going to be a definite good one, good kind of battle to have.
Okay, so Ruan is also one of the most expensive drivers for the season, coming in at $900,000 for the season, eh?
yes, I hope I'm worth it.
As
No,
as we see Ockert van Rensburg leave the session, though.
yes, at this stage, I saw I was struggling to put down a quick lap. As you can see, I'm currently 7th there, with not a lot of time left as well. I just opted to go for the mediums at this stage to try and set a quicker time. There's a lot of guys in the pit right now, so it's actually not very busy.
Yeah, Dennis is currently pushing to get back closer to Leandro, or at least on that front row. Dennis
Yes.
driving
Ooh,
for
and it takes
Prima.
second
There we
place.
go. Great work there by Dennis. Yeah,
Well done,
Prima is
Dennis.
actually my team for this season, so I am secretly rooting that he does really well.
How much did you pay for Dennis there?
Let me have a look here. So Dennis came in at 560,000 for the season. I believe that's a bargain with the quality of driver that he is.
I think so as well. So it's around about in the middle of the pack, and currently is second. So yeah, that's value for money right there.
Yeah, for a F2 driver, 500,000 is about the average salary that you would be looking at. Up with guys like Leandro getting salaries of 1 million, that's exorbitant amount of money for an F2 driver, and he really hit the jackpot this season. But hopefully that type of salary worth his performance, as the top 3 drivers at the end of the season will be promoted to Formula One, where they will get a chance to then go and prove themselves against the big boys.
Yeah.
That's exciting stuff. So it's gonna evolve the whole time. The whole league will evolve as the drivers progress as well.
Yeah, and these guys are also, while they're doing F2, they're also reserve drivers for the F1 league that will be racing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's correct. That's
On Friday.
correct. Yeah. So if one of the F1 drivers cannot make a race, because they are part, we see Enrico completely losing it around that corner. Wow, I think he completely misjudged it, or just the back end just stepped out on him there. Okay, so
That is a
yeah.
tricky corner.
So because they're part of, because the team principal owns both a Formula 2 and a Formula 1 team, the Formula 2 team actually doubles up as a backup for the Formula 1 guys. So they do function then as a reserves for the F1 teams.
Yeah, and going back to I think it was Enrico when he took I think turn 12. That's similar to what I was saying about turn 11, because if you go into turn 12 too fast and you don't brake to meet the curb, you can easily just go off and spin off and get a track evaluation, which will hamper your performance, your times quite a lot. because
That-
it will be absolutely gone.
That's correct. And turn 11, turn 12's curb is also very slippery. So if you do touch it, you tend to spin out right there.
Yeah, that's right. It's to spin it completely into the wall.
Yes.
Depending on how fast you're going at that time, you could easily lose a wheel there, and that's pretty much your session over. So these guys really need to
All
be
right, we're
careful.
currently seeing Ruan out on track here. It seems to be out on a good lap at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like he's got good pace for a section of track, as we were talking about it earlier. Section 2, I believe, heading up
Yeah,
to turn.
let's see if
Yes.
let's see if he actually improves on this sector. If the camera stays on him long enough, we should
Yeah.
see an improvement around this. I believe there's a timestamp section just up ahead,
Yes.
just around this next bend.
Yeah, nice.
So-
There was a nice exit there of turn 10, which is always very important.
Yes, that's probably one of the most important turns to get right on Bahrain.
Yeah, going into turn 12 here. Let's see how.
Oh,
Yeah, wow, look at that 0.7 of a second faster on his time. That's immense.
Yes.
That is very good driving from Rowan.
Yeah, so with the track acclimation being well now, with the rubber being down, the mediums did come in handy in the later stages of the qualifying.
So you would say with about 5-6 minutes left on the clock, that's kind of the sweet spot to hit out on track.
I might hit out a little bit earlier, as you can see. I take second place there.
Right. Very good time there by Ruan though for P2.
Yeah, very
Well
decent.
done.
I was trying to catch Leandre.
But there's something also very interesting to notice is that all the way down to around about 7th place, all of them are within a second of each other.
Yeah, no, this is the quality of drivers that we got in the league is quite high.
Definitely.
Yeah. So everybody is just
Wow, when we see Leandre actually getting a sub 140 there with a 139.7.
That is beautiful.
yeah, Leon. One thing about that we'll probably always be saying about Leandre is that he is super quick, and yeah, he can put in some really hectic times, which is good for the championship as a whole.
Yeah, Leandre's also a very consistent driver. As being his teammate, like I said, in another league, he's always been consistent. And I think that also plays in his favor, being more consistent driver as an aggressive driver. And I think that's what makes him such a good driver as well.
Yeah,
as we
so
watch-
Leandre was a little bit unlucky to get into the Formula 2 league, as he was, I believe he was occupied during the cutoffs and couldn't submit his faster or improved times, and ended up just missing out on that top 20 spot to be in the Formula 1.
That's correct.
As
Yes.
you watch one of the other drivers get out of the way, one of the Dams drivers get out of the way.
Yeah, that was Mohammed. Yeah, no, like we said earlier, I mean, the guys are really, so accommodating with the fact that they don't want to impede anybody's hot lap.
Yeah, let's see what.
Oh,
Dennis
there's
does
a
on his first lap on the mediums.
fastest second sector there by Dennis.
That's beautiful.
Nice purple sector for Dennis as we come into the final corner here, heading up to the finish line. Let's see where he places.
Really pushing this
extremely
Prima
fresh
car
mediums.
really hard.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, beautiful.
Almost a second faster. That is a
Yeah.
very, very good lap there. It takes P2 away from Ruan.
Yeah, with 9/10 of a second in front of me.
Yeah, these guys are so close. It's going to be interesting to see what we see in the race.
Definitely.
Just about
We'll
4
board with
minutes
Mohammed
left. Yeah,
as well.
yeah. He
And
seems.
he's also on his first lap with the mediums.
Oh, you're right. He has not set any laps yet with the medium tires that he's got on now. He seems to be struggling as we're seeing red sectors there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not track. And as he invalidates, looks like he invalidates his lap there
Yeah, correct.
straight away. Which is strange because I was actually just about to say it's not a lap invalidation, and then straight after that he invalidated his lap. um, which I had no idea. But yeah, I think Mohammed Faison is going to be a bit disappointed with that as we watch Ruan taking a bit of an interesting line.
I missed my breaking point completely there.
Yeah, that happens when you're starting to try and get every single inch out of this track and gunning and trying to drive the cars at the limit. Sometimes you do tend to just teeter a little bit over.
That's correct.
Yeah, as we jump on board with Enrico.
Enrico is also one of the new drivers this season. And he's came in, he's actually from Italy. Oh, he loses the back end there.
Oof.
Coming in at $550,000, $550,000 for his season contract for a driver for Universiosi.
So, Ron,
Yes.
in that moment when you spin the car and you're putting in a decent lap, what's the mindset when you all of a sudden lose the back end like we just saw Enrico do?
So what I usually do is my mindset is okay, next lap. I know I made a mistake here. This is what happened. Why did I push the car so hard and what happened? And yeah, just to get the tires clean again. Obviously went off the road. He's got dirty tires now. Try and get the tires clean. And with the Formula 2 cars, because you have limited fuel, I don't go over 50% throttle until I'm out again on my fast lap.
Yeah. So then, in that case, then would you rather go into the pits and put on a new set of rubber to go out and do a lap again, or would you stay out, let the tires cool down, and go again the very next lap?
It depends on what time was left. So with the qualifying, I had about 2 minutes left when he spun out. I would just try and push to get some time left for next lap. Try and cool the tires down a bit and just try and go out for another lap.
Absolutely, because there wouldn't be enough time to make your out lap.
Exactly. As we watch Mohammed Faison in sixth place coming around.
It's a purple sector 2, the fastest
corner,
sector.
Getting a purple sector in sector 2, which is always a good sign.
It looks like this aggressive driving style that Mohammed has really pays off for him sometimes.
It does, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, on the flip side, it also gets you into trouble, eh?
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Pushes him into 4th place.
P4 for Mohammed. Very good showing there. All right.
A really decent performance.
30 seconds left of this session, guys. I don't think anybody's going to be able to beat Leandro. That's a really good time. But Dennis did manage to get the gap down from where the gap was over 1.2 seconds initially with Leandro's lap time there to just about 0.6 of a second difference there.
That's great.
Looks like we got Enrico, who had probably looks like he had a secondary spin there. As we watch Tristan go really wide at turn 10.
That turn 10 is tricky, hey? I mean, it's a downhill break and you have to turn to the left, so it can very easily catch you out. And like we said, these cars do tend to punish you if you don't respect them.
Definitely, especially they don't have as much downforce as the Formula 1 cars, and like you said, with the downhill brake, there is some wind coming up underneath the car, and you do lose that downforce. It means you actually have to brake sooner than what you would have.
As we see Reese coming towards the final turn, and he'll be wanting to put his foot hard onto that accelerator.
Locking up a little bit there.
Yeah, but he's already invalidated this lap, so it's just it's a matter of pride, I guess.
Yeah,
definitely.
But that lap ended up being 1.1 seconds slower than his best.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he invalidated it though, because when I was talking, I didn't actually click that he had actually invalidated that.
Yeah, so another thing, when like on Josh's point earlier, when things do go bad, whether it's in qualifying or race, it's a good discipline to have, to be able to just dust yourself off, regroup, and just kind of put your head down and get the job done. Don't get down in the dumps. You don't know what the rest of the race holds for you, and other people can have incidents, and you might just be able to capitalize from it. So you
Definitely.
must just never, kind of give up.
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think that's one thing I've definitely learned over the past like 5-6 races.
Right,
Um,
viewers. So Leandre scoring pole position there, scoring himself 4 points. As we see everybody actually putting their time down on the medium tire, except for Ockard, who actually did his time on the hards. I wonder if that's part of his strategy for the race to start on the harder compound.
It's possible to start on the hards, trying to get as much laps in with the hards and get the overcut on the rest of the races. That's all racing on the mediums.
Yeah, true. It's going to be interesting to see if that pays off for him this race.
Definitely. I mean, that's one thing is there's certain strategies for races, but it all depends on what you want to try and do. If you want to try and spice it up, you want to try something different. Because to put one lap earlier could be in your favor, or it could at the end of the day cost you the race. And the same with pitting later.
Yeah, and I guess that's why it does remain kind of the call of the driver, because he has first-hand experience whether there is enough grip still left on the tires, whether it's a good idea to pit earlier, or whether or not he feels that he can still pull out another good lap on the set of tires that he currently have.
That's true. And if he wants to take the gamble,
Right, so as we are about to start the formation lap of the very first round of this season, exciting stuff. Really looking forward to this race tonight.
yeah, it looks like everybody's getting away nice and smoothly. Looks like we've got a car that looks a tiny bit stranded there.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
that's Khalifa. I think he actually got issues there with the start the formation lap start.
Yeah, well, hopefully he got away alright. Looks like, judging by the minimap, looks like he did, which is good.
Oh, and he spins
And
it
you get a-
again. I think that those
obviously
cold
the
tires
confidence.
and yeah.
Yeah. Also, sometimes some things that the driver struggles with when doing the formation lap is you don't really know how much is enough when warming up your tires. You just got to keep on weaving. I know for me personally, when I weave, I feel like I'm gonna go into the wall. That's me. But yeah, luckily that didn't. I did a little bit, I think, on this formation lap, but I was also thinking, let's not bin it on the formation lap.
But luckily, Josh, also with these Formula 2 cars, and I don't know if you want to or if you're going to agree with me, and something that I realized is that you don't actually need to weave. Just going around the track, for some reason, these cars' tires heat up quicker than the Formula 1 cars' tires.
I think it's also because the car is heavier, so it actually puts a lot more weight down on the rubber.
That's true, and it's a lower profile tire as well.
Yeah, 18-inch rims this season. So
They do look good though, eh?
They do
yeah,
look very good.
They definitely do.
I'm excited for next year's Formula One when they actually start having the bigger wheels also, and a completely
Definitely.
more streamlined design.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as we watch Leandre come up to his grid slot.
There's Khalifa waiting for them.
He's gonna regret those cold tires.
Definitely. A cold start, especially at the back of the pack, is not ideal.
As all the cars come into place now.
Right, just for the viewers' sake, we have a feature race of 16 laps. Then we have a switcheroo where we reverse the order of the finishes in the top 8 for this feature race for the sprint race, which is only 6 laps. Okay, so Ruan, do you want to talk us through the lights?
Yes, let's do that. So we see Muhammad's car very excited to get off the track there.
It's bouncing around with excitement.
Bouncing around, yes. Okay, guys, 5 lights and we are lights out. There we go. Leandre first, Dennis trying to get around on the right hand side with me following close by, and Muhammad actually joins in with the front 4 pack. Let's see what happens on turn 1. Oh, Muhammad gets the...
Oh,
and we see
somebody's
damage
wing
there.
got damaged there. Oh, and
Mohammed
Dennis
going
is
out
going
wide.
right three wide there. Dennis and Leandre and Mohammed really all charging and challenging for that lead position.
Yeah.
Yeah, very very brave driving to go 3 wide into turn 2.
Oh, and Ruan spins
Ruan
out. Well,
spins out. Oh my word. I think that was a little just too eager on the throttle coming out of that corner, trying to, obviously maximize the speeding, trying to keep up with the pack ahead.
definitely, and the excitement as well, and peer pressure.
Yeah, nerves do play its part. Okay, as
Yes.
we see them coming into this downhill turn left.
Oh, Dennis is chasing on Leandre there.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
doing a pretty good job to put Leandre under first lap pressure here.
Definitely getting some slipstream there. There's another thing I realized with these F2 cars. This slipstream isn't that aggressive, and it doesn't work as well as it does on the F1 cars.
Oh, also, it does look like you're more able to follow the car ahead of you closer than what's normally the case in F1.
Yeah,
Definitely.
less dirty air, yeah, definitely.
While these F2 cars do, provide such good entertainment with the battles that are on track.
Yes, definitely. No, they are entertaining cars.
Tristan seems to be gaining on Arcade for P6, and he's just passed him as I said that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Leandre currently setting the fastest lap, obviously the first lap being done. Dennis still chasing shortly after him. Then we've got, and the leaderboard has gone crazy. So we'll just wait for that thing to sort himself out.
It started brilliantly, coming back into second place there.
Just watching the mini map, we've got Leandre, then we got Dennis, Mohammed, and then Adrian are in fourth place at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like a very good start.
Mohammed has just scored himself a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so exceeding the track
On
limits.
lap 3.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, it seems like the first 2 laps have gone swimmingly, shall we say, and it looks like everyone got away safely.
There were a couple of broken wings and Ruan that spun out, but overall, yeah, it was a pretty good start.
Yeah, Reese actually spun out as well there. You couldn't see it, but I saw him drop down in the rankings.
Oh, so it was just off camera. He followed you by example.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Looks like Cockert has gotten past Tristan again, and now Tristan is just taking the position back again. A good battle between these two.
Oh, old switcheroo there.
As we currently can't rely on the leaderboard, as it's still got its head all messed up.
It looks like it corrected a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, great. Yeah, sorry about the overlay. I will fix that post-edit.
Yeah, it looks like everybody in the race were having some decent battles. As we see Leandre putting in the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, being in front usually helps with putting in the fastest lap. If you don't have any pressure trying to overtake someone or someone keeping you back, you also don't have any dirty air.
Oh,
a little
he
nudge
gets
there from
spun
Reese.
around.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Mounting that curve too much spins you completely.
Yeah. And as we see Reese there, and I'm right on his tail.
Oh, it looks like Mohammed's, the AI has taken over for Mohammed there as he's ghosting. And Reese lets Ruan by. A little bit of team orders there. Reese obviously thinking that Ruan's got the better chance of catching the guys ahead, so letting him by.
Yeah, that's just being a good teammate right there. There was no team orders or anything like that. He was just being a good teammate. Probably feeling bad for me for that I spun out there on turn 4.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys spoke about that after the race.
Right, looks like Mohammed is back in the session as well.
Yeah. Hopefully Ockett had some time to catch up there.
Yeah, let's hope that Enrico and Khalifa get a bit more of a decent race so they can make their way up the field.
Ockett, judging from the minimap, Ockett is right behind Mohammed over there.
Yeah, the last interval we had, he was about 1 second behind Mohammed.
So that should put him into DRS for the final straight if he can maintain that.
Yeah. You see
Yeah.
Dennis trying to battle his way back to fight Leandre there with a 2.5 second, being 2.5 seconds behind.
Tristan is also gunning it up the field here. Looks like he's having tremendous pace. Currently in P5, but catching Josh in front of him in P4. Josh doing really well here tonight. I must mention, he was struggling in the other league in Formula 1 and really great showing out here tonight in the Formula 2 car.
Definitely, I think it's that pink power that's working for Josh there. And he's doing a great job defending from Tristan as well.
Yeah, I think Tristan is a very, very quick driver, and you can, like, I don't need to tell you how quick he is. You can see it.
Tristan has gotten himself a 3-second penalty there for exceeding the track limits.
Yeah, giving Josh some breathing room, actually.
Yeah, for sure. That's obviously from coming to pushing the car at the absolute limits there. You have to try and keep at least 2 tires on the black and white. Otherwise, you're going to just, get yourself into trouble.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the guys under or overestimate these cars braking, and they tend to brake a little bit too late, and that causes them to go off track.
Yeah. I think in previous races I've had where people go too late in their pitting lane. Yeah.
That's correct.
It's not good. Yeah.
Dennis actually managed to catch up in about a second on Leandre.
Wow, that
So
is
we might-
amazing. And they are currently, from the looks of it, on the same compound.
That's correct, yeah. So if he keeps up this pace, you should be able to catch Leandre in about 2 laps.
Yeah. So if we, as we watch the
Tristan obviously having a DRS there on Josh, catching up quite significantly. Now he lines himself up for the second DRS zone. Let's see if he has a sneaky peek here down the straight. I think he's just a little bit too far back. Josh doing it brilliantly to keep him behind. Obviously using some of that battery overtake button.
No, these cars don't have that overtake button, Quentin.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Yeah, there's no ERS here. This is pure power from the cars itself.
Yeah, my mistake.
It would be nice though.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah.
make it a lot more fun.
And we see Reese also getting a 3-second penalty there. Yeah.
And Tristan still managing to keep in the DRS zone there on Josh, but Josh just keeps on going. So Josh, what's going through your head right now? Yeah.
Since I knew that Tristan was right behind me, I was just trying to focus on consistency and trying to keep a gap of at least a second, or not let him get too close, because I knew that if he got too close, that he would pass me.
Yes.
Also, you know, it's quite dangerous when you start focusing on the guy behind you too much. You know, it's good to be aware of the fact that he's there, but don't let him get in your head.
Yeah, I think for me it was just a thing of...
Oh, we see Dennis coming into the pit. Sorry, and heading outbound to the hard compound now.
He's trying that undercut on Leandre.
Yeah, as we see Leandre still out and not pitting yet. See 3 cars in the pits there at the moment. It looks like it's actually Dennis, Adrian, and Josh all opted into the pits.
That's correct. Yeah, it might work in their favor, or it might not. Because with the mediums, I mean, this is only a 16-lap race, but the cars are a little bit heavier, so they go through the tires quicker than the Formula 1 cars. But with the medium tires on these cars, they can handle about 9 to 10. You can probably push them around to 12 laps on the mediums.
Yeah, but by that point, it's a lose-lose. I think there's a point of no return with these things. You know, if you start getting off to that point where the tire starts falling off, you're actually at that point just doing yourself more harm than good by staying out.
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. As we're still waiting for Enrico to, I think, come out of the pits in 11th. Yeah, I really hope that he can make his way through the field. see what pace he has, because I've never seen him race before. So yeah.
Yeah, and Josh, you back on ninth after that pit that you had.
Yeah, that's purely for
There we go.
the team, because yeah, I think that particular one, they did a very good pit stop. So yeah.
So Dennis is really catching up to Orchid there.
It is not yet pitted yet.
Yes, and also Leandro hasn't pitted as well, probably being around 20 seconds behind.
Oh, that was a
Ooh.
dangerous maneuver there by Ockett. That is definitely not. And he got speeding in the pit lane penalty there. Yeah,
I
that
think
is.
that was a last minute decision, a last second
Yeah,
decision.
but
right
you,
there.
you really can't cut across this. As you can see on the track itself, there's a white line. There's a proper pit lane entry that you need to follow, and you definitely
correct.
can't be cutting from the left side of the track to the right. And because Dennis was already going for an overtake maneuver at that point, so that could have really ended up badly for Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As you see, Reese now all the way up to third, which is an amazing drive from him. I think he's really showing his pace.
Khalifa's
So,
also gotten a 5-second penalty for the pit lane speed limits. You know, so this is something we did brief the drivers about just before the race as well, that we will be applying manuals pit lane speed limiters. Now, what this means is the drivers would actually need to slow down manually before heading into the pit lanes, and then once they hit the pit lane limit line, they have to apply the pit limiter themselves, limiting the car with regards to the pit lane speeds. And some of these guys are obviously, you know, struggling to get used to this.
Yeah, it was my first time doing that as well, and obviously you need to be below. I think it was 80 kilometers an hour when you start entering the pits. Otherwise, you do get a 5-second penalty. I actually got a warning for being like 2 kilometers an hour faster, and after that, I was just very careful entering the pits.
yeah. I think that can be something that can really mess up your race if you misjudge the pit lane entry speed.
Currently,
And
we're
also-
seeing Reese and Tristan there into the pits. Tristan seems to already starting to make his way out. It looks like Tristan has gotten the undercut over Josh with regards to the pit, as we see Tristan now heading out and just coming out ahead of Josh there.
Yeah, that was. Josh could have had the undercut there, but I think the pace from Tristan on that lap between the pits was in his advantage as well.
Yeah,
it looks
obviously
like-
setting
anyone in front of
a
him.
very good lap time there on when Josh was in the pits.
That's correct, but Josh is already on him again. Less than a second, 6/10, 5/10 of a second.
Yeah, so now the hunted becomes the hunter.
Yeah, I think when I was driving this, the thing that was going through my mind is that I was just thoroughly enjoying it, because that's what F2 is. Because it's closer, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and myself personally, I love the sound of these cars with that turbo dump valve sound. We see Leandro now finally into the pits, swapping over to another set of hards. So he's obviously going for a one-stop strategy here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's obviously still got the time advantage to him, so the guys can't get past him while he's in the pits.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
as
see Muhammad coming in now very quickly.
As we see Ockert from Rendsburg retiring from the session.
Ooh, what
Yeah,
happened
in the
there?
second sector, he's retired. So that's unfortunate.
That's probably a spin out around that hairpin turn there. If you apply a little bit too much throttle, you spin out very easily there.
As
Yeah,
we
very
see Leandro
possible.
here catching up to Khalifa in last place. Now he will be ghosted because we do have ghosting on. So the front runner can actually just pass somebody that's currently being blue flagged.
Yeah, and also something to note is that we got a few more people with penalties. We got Mohammed Faison, who's got some penalties. We got Tristan. We got myself. We got Reese
And Khalifa. Yeah.
as well. He was, I think, about nearly a lap down. I think maybe at this point. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and currently we're
Yeah.
on lap 9, and Mohammed is still not pitted. So he's really stretching the set of tires to see the maximum amount of laps that he can get out of those.
Yeah, he's one of the only ones that started on the hard compound to try and push as far as you can. Obviously, we saw Alejandro pit with the previous on lap 8 to go to hards again. And yeah, he's got the fresher tires. We can already see he's down about 2 seconds. He closed the gap between him and Mohammed.
It looks like Tristan's actually increased the gap there to Josh a little bit. Quickly looking at Enrico there. Khalifa, this was Khalifa's first outing with us tonight with the Formula 2 cars. He said he still needs to get used to the handling of these cars, but he's going to put in a lot of seat time to be prepared for the Vietnam race, which is in about 3 weeks' time.
That's correct. Yeah, the Vietnam is a very difficult track as well. If you don't put down seat time there, you are gonna kiss a wall. So
Yeah.
it's good for him to put down some seat time for that.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of the city tracks. I'm always afraid of those walls. You know, if you don't have any
Definitely.
runoff areas, you always have it in the corner of your eye. You know, the fact that if you do make a mistake, it's going to cost you dearly.
Definitely, and I
Yeah.
think it makes it exciting as well, though those races.
Leandre is currently chasing hard, trying to catch up to Mohammed there. But obviously, viewers, keep in mind Mohammed is not yet pitted. So he is currently first on track, but he still does need to make a pit stop.
But definitely, and Leandro also has, like you said, now has got the much fresher tires, so he's going to be quick to catch that or close that gap of 2.8 seconds now.
Yeah, he's catching blisteringly fast. Catching
Especially
at the
at his
moment.
pace.
That looks like he's just passed Enrico there, another back runner as well.
Yeah, I think just by watching now, he's literally gone from, I think, about like 3.1 seconds behind to he's made up basically a full second on Mohammed Faison. And that just goes to show how much pace Leandro Boshoff actually has.
Yes.
In that, I think it's the Dams car, I think, is it?
Charouz.
Yeah, Charisse Racing, yeah.
Yeah, in that Charouz racing car. As you watch...
Oh, and Josh is now coming up on Khalifa, yeah.
And Reese is also closing up on Josh. Ooh.
I think in my... I know exactly why I went wide there, because in my mind at that point, I was still freaking out about like lapping people. In my mind, in the back of my mind, I was freaking out about it, so that's why I went wide there, because I lost concentration for a split second.
But it is strange if you encounter a back runner for the first.
Oh,
Robert
as we see
wide there.
Josh completely missing his braking point there.
Ooh, giving Reese the advantage of the advantage to pass him there.
Yeah, that was also another instance where I didn't realize, I wasn't sure, 100% sure if the car was going to ghost him, because once before it hasn't. So I was like,
That is the thing with the ghosting. If you encounter it for the first time, I was also very hesitant to pass when I encountered that for the first time. It's like, can you pass or can you not? And I usually just, for the first few times I went around the car until I saw I can actually just ghost through it.
This track is very beautiful at night though. I mean, it's so well lit, and it really is a very beautiful track at night. Mohammed is now coming up on lap number 12 as he enters the last corner here for lap 11, and he still has not pitted. Let's see if he finally heads into the pits. But Alejandro at this point has already caught up to him, so it was a big loss for him. I think with only 4 laps left, he's not really going to get the full advantage of being out on, even if he puts out the faster compound, which is the medium tire at this point.
Definitely, and because of his older tires, a lot of the back runners started catching up to him, and the pits are quite slow on the F2 cars because you actually only have one guy per tire, where with Formula 1 you've got 2 guys per tire. So these pits are usually around 12 seconds, and that's if you don't have to replace a wing.
Yeah, so it can be really costly really quickly.
Definitely.
Right, if
As
we
you can
look
see
at
already,
the
he's
mini map
12.7.
there, he's already coming out well behind Josh. Dennis still chasing hard, trying to catch up on Leandre, but it looks like Leandre's pace is just getting the better of Dennis this time around.
Yeah, I think Dennis has got older tires as well as to Leandre, because as we remember, Leandre did pit later.
Yeah, that's true. Leandre obviously setting himself up for the late game.
Yeah, so we've only got 10 cars left, so it doesn't matter if you, as long as you finish, you're going to score some points right now.
Yeah, exactly. Which I know that in previous leagues, when people do badly for like a couple of seconds, they rage and they stop. I don't think we actually. I think
Yeah, we only
everybody
have
in this
Ockett,
race.
Yeah, we only have the one DNF at this point.
DNF, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, as we see Leandre's
fastest lap.
fastest lap again. So he, you know, obviously not letting up, even though he's got a 6-second gap at the moment. He really wants it hard.
But like I said with Leandre, he's a very consistent driver. So whether he's got someone chasing him or not, he just that's his pace. Doesn't matter if there's someone behind him.
Yeah, he puts his head down and gets the job done.
That's correct. Yeah, Dennis already lost about 2 seconds there in the last lap, falling behind on Leandre with the older tires.
Just having a quick look at the intervals, it does look like Josh is currently gaining on Reese there. He's already in just this lap alone gained about 0.2 of a second.
That is beautiful. And Josh is good at hunting down people. I've seen that, and it's difficult to pass him as well. I've raced Josh previously. If you have Josh in front of you...
Have you seen Josh's starts? He's usually wickedly fast on those starts.
I have not, no.
I don't know. Did you get a good start off this race in the first feature race there, Josh? It looked from the angle that we had, it looked like you got a pretty decent start.
Yeah, I think for this race I did get a very good start because I tried to go up the inside of one of the cars and then he started moving. So
Oh no!
Oh no!
It looks like Josh braked a little bit hard there and actually had the back end slide out on him, because that collision there actually looked like it was completely out of control. You know, because if you do brake very hard with these F2 cars, the back end does tend to step out. As we see Josh going wide again, is that due to some damage now or being rattled?
I know at that point that I did have some damage, but I decided to keep on going because there are only 2 laps left, and then also with that turn is that I broke early, so I would have enough time to kind of turn the car in, but then somehow managed to lose the back end still and still managed to hit Reese.
Reese is fighting to come back though.
Yeah, which as soon as that happened, I'll message instantly.
Yes, we after the incident with that allowed Mohammed to catch up, and with the DRS he's having a sneaky peek right now. Oh, and with the pressure, that's allowed Josh to run wide there. And Reese says thank you, no thank you, and he goes straight past as well.
Yeah, a little bit F1 sass or F2 sass there. I detect. he give and then he take away.
So there's a little bit of a fight going on for 5th place right now. Yeah, from 4th place up until 7th place, all of them have 3-second penalties.
Yeah.
So it actually puts me back into the race. If I can close that gap with 3 seconds, I can pass you then there, Josh.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, currently there's 4 guys ahead of you with a penalty, so you're still well within contention here for some good points.
Yeah, I think at this point I was just trying to focus on getting to the end.
Yeah.
Mainly because I knew I had a little bit of damage, but it wasn't enough to warrant a secondary stop.
Yeah, true. You lose way too much time. At this point in time, there's not going to be enough laps to recover from a secondary pit. As we see Leandre leading out the pack here for the second last lap of this feature race, still well ahead.
As we see a lockup from, who was that? Was that me logging?
There, you're the only pink car on track.
Yeah, but it looked like I was going past the smoke, so that's what I was asking.
All right, Josh does seem to be gaining on Reese here, obviously with the DRS here, the final straight.
Yes.
He's gotten that gap there down to half a second. That was a much better turn one there from Josh's side.
Definitely.
See, it goes to show what I've been saying all the time, right? If you can make that turn, you're golden.
It
Because
looks like Josh is in the middle of a MP sandwich here, MP Motorsport sandwich there a little bit, with Reese and Ruan kind of ganging up on you a little bit there, buddy.
I was starting hard.
I felt a little bit ganged up on, and when I get
And you scored a 3-second penalty there. I guess the pressure also does play mind games, because that's now allowed you to make some valuable mistakes too as well, and now giving you 6-second penalties. So that's going to definitely put Ruan ahead of you now.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, at this point, I was just thinking get to the end. Because I knew even if, I was just in the mindset of just get to the end.
Get to the end, get some points. Yeah, but on the flip side to that, you got to try and, not let guys get in your head. Try and keep it between the white lines, because penalties can be very, very costly, especially if you look at the leaderboard there. There is not much between these drivers, and if you score a 3-second penalty, it can drastically change the outcome of the results.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
So at this stage,
Sorry.
At this stage, I was trying to put pressure on you, Josh. As you can see, I'm very, very close, actually passing you right there. Because mentally, some drivers crack under pressure, or they start making mistakes. And I was trying to put that pressure on you to maybe get you to make a mistake again. But as you can see, you took that position back again right away.
Yeah, and we also saw in that interim when you guys were duking it out, Dennis also scored a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits there. So that's really going to hamper his, chase on Leandre. But obviously, that's still not enough to really change his overall position, being that he's 12 seconds ahead of Adrian, which is fantastic. All right, so Leandre, we were looking at the leader now coming around the last bend of the last lap.
Punching that accelerator all the way to the line.
And a well-deserved victory there by Leandre. Really kind of a flawless display. And Dennis coming in for second place.
Well deserved drive from him, because I know that he's also one of the drivers that races for one of the teams where they only have one driver.
And Adrian finishing up the podium positions there, and Tristan coming in fourth position here. Really good drive here tonight by Tristan as well.
Definitely, yes.
He's definitely quick, and he showed that a lot in this particular race.
All right, we got Mohammed P5. Reese is just going to cross the line there now. We got some glitching going on there with the leaderboard at the moment. Mohammed getting dropped down to 8th place. After the races, the stewards will obviously look at all incidents that were submitted by the drivers. So at the end of the presentation, we will display the final standings on grid positions, which would be after all penalties and stuff has actually been allocated to the drivers before we display the final standings of all the drivers and teams.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we all know Bugmasters, they with these standings, for some reason this happens with Mohammed dropping down from 5th all the way down to 8th there.
Yeah, it's a bug we've seen in multiple leagues now. Khalifa coming in to close the grid. They're also scoring himself some valuable points. With obviously there not being that many drivers on track, but it's a great driver of the day, Tristan Thomas. Well done, and I mean we saw that he did put in a valiant effort today. Really, such a good drive.
Definitely.
Yeah, he definitely drove well. I'm really happy for Khalifa so that he could actually just get a point at least, because there's nothing worse than feeling like you being lapped and coming last. I feel like that's kind of like a saving grace for him. So at least he got a point in this race.
All right, so yeah, as we see the guys celebrate there at the end. South Africa taking the first place there. South Africa, and I believe that's Netherlands and then UK.
Yeah. We've got a lot of South African boys representing in this league.
Yeah, but we got drivers from all over the world, which is
And that's
really
what makes it
fantastic.
nice. Yeah, for sure.
Right, we got a short break here before we start the sprint race. So just for the viewers' sake, we'll obviously the top 8 on the standings that there are right now are going to be reversed. So we'll see Mohammed actually starting the sprint race, which is 6 laps, in pole position.
Okay. So it goes from 8th backwards up until 1st.
Correct.
So first position will then start on 8th.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we're just waiting for everybody to get their setup selected and all of this stuff, getting everybody loaded up. Final words there from their race engineers, getting everybody prepped.
Yeah. So obviously with the sprint race, you only have one set of tires. You don't want to pit.
Yeah, no, there's
for
no,
such a
there wouldn't
short
be
race.
any pitting with this one. It's obviously also a strategy to keep in mind, trying to, if you're going to finish the race, trying to get to, if you're in that midfield, trying to get to that P8 position so that you have a good shot at starting the sprint race in first place.
Definitely.
Obviously, just for the viewers' sake, so for the first race, P1 scores you 25 points, but for the sprint race, P1 only scores you 15 points. Now, keep in mind, you also have the benefit of the person who scored the fastest lap, whether it be for the feature race or for the sprint race, also gets an additional 2 points. So there's a lot of points up for grabs.
Yeah, as we watch the guys go towards sector 2 now.
Yeah, Ruan, this has worked out very good for the MP Motorsport boys, as I see you guys are 3rd and 4th here on the grid for the sprint race.
Definitely, and I was just thinking I need to catch Josh this time because and that last lap of the feature race, me and Josh actually had quite a battle going out there, and I braked late on turn 10 and I missed my opportunity to be able to pass him on the DRS zone there.
I see you guys made a little bit of contact there with one another as Josh braked it a little bit too hard and caught you out. So you guys did get a DQ from the formation lap. That does not mean that you're being disqualified. It just means that you won't be having the opportunity to warm up your tires in the formation lap, and you'll be teleported straight back to your starting grid.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
I think that was my fault completely, to be honest. Because I remember thinking, okay, I need to brake enough so I can make the turn, but then in doing that, I broke a little bit too hard. Then I ended up, you know what happened.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
As we're seeing Reese now following Mohammed there, trying to do a good job there of warming up his tires. It looks like he's out on the hard set of tires. You should be able to finish a race here on mediums though.
Yes, you should.
definitely,
Yeah, easily.
definitely.
I can't remember now, correct me if I'm wrong, do you actually have the option of changing your starting setup here for the sprint race, selecting a tire, or do you start the race with the set of tires that you finished the feature race with?
Yeah, you can't change.
Oh,
You can't
okay.
change it.
This is what I couldn't remember.
But what's strange is because Mohammed actually finished on mediums. I think for the sprint race, everyone is on the hards.
I see. It does look like everybody's on the hards.
Yes.
All right, so as we're about to get the second session started here for the sprint race, again we can see Mohammed's car is very excited to get going. He's
Shaking in
just twitching
anticipation.
with anticipation here. 4 lights, 5 lights, and out. Come and there we go. As we hit off. Very
Beautiful
good start
from
there by
Mohammed
Ruan as well. Mohammed going defensive, closing the door there on Josh. Very good, and the guys behind making sure that they get through turn 1 quite carefully. Looks like one of the guys that ghosted there might have disconnected. Oh, Ruan drops back quite significantly there. What happened?
I came back too quickly into the racing line, and I think I met Tristan or Adrian there, and it spun me out. Obviously, having the not very warm tires as well, didn't have much grip.
Oh, that's unlucky. Okay, Mohammed currently making the most of starting in P1, just putting his foot down. I think this is kind of a scenario where Mohammed really is at his most comfortable, you know, when he does not have any traffic to deal with, and he can just get the work done.
Definitely, yeah.
As Tristan gets a 3-second time penalty.
Already on lap 1. That's unfortunate, eh?
And he went wide there on turn 10 as well.
Nice and clean there through that corner there by Josh. Oh, side by side here with Dennis and Reese. Reese not willing to really give up that position, really battling Dennis here. You see hard on the brakes there as they come through this last bend. But there's no DRS yet, I believe. Side by side again, going into the last corner. Oh, and Dennis just manages to squeeze him out.
But Reese is coming back, having a little sneak there.
Not done with Dennis just yet, and this has now actually allowed Leandre to come into play as well.
Yes. I wonder if Reese went defensive there or he actually tried to pass Dennis, because I would actually stay a little bit longer behind Dennis to get some of that slipstream and just ramp up my speed.
Dennis actually coming out the victor there, still with the positions not really changing up. Still Dennis, Reese, and then Leandre. But
Yes.
yeah, that was exciting stuff.
The scoreboard freaked out again.
Yeah, if you look back at the footage, you'll see that coming out of the final turn, Reese actually locks up on his front right, I think it is.
Yes, he was very hard on the braking there.
That caused him to lose a lot of time. As we watch the F2 Racing Point going through turn 10.
Yeah, it's the HWA car. I see you also still struggling to get used to the names of the Formula 2 cars. Ruan and I were talking about it last night. We were saying that, you know, we're used to the Formula 1 teams and their names and stuff, so it's going to take a little time to get used to the names, yeah.
Definitely.
Leandre currently in P5, Dennis P4, and Reese really pushing hard to try and get back up to Leandre, as Leandre's gotten past him now.
Yeah, but Tristan is right up on Reese as well. Oh, and goes a little bit wide, costing him some time.
You can see that Tristan is really trying to push very hard here to catch up. Arkid now in P8, also catching up on Tristan there.
Yeah, I think I would love to see Arkid do well in this race. Because I think he's similar to me in a way, but he just needs a bit of confidence.
Yeah, needs a good finish. And he's a fast driver as well, but like you said, he's plagued with bad luck.
Yeah.
Right, past corner 1, Leandre. Oh, what happened there? Adrian spun out. Oh no, and he's dropped down to oh jeez, that's cost him a lot. P8, and he recovers now. But that was costly. That was just driver error, unfortunately.
Yeah. But Leandre is fighting to come back from 8th position already onto 4th position.
Yeah, he's now really getting up onto the back end there of the Prima car of Dennis there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if he can if he can get a good slipstream on Dennis, I think he will pass him and myself, probably next to me, to be honest. Because he does, just looking at his driving right now, he looks extremely quick.
Yeah, and it's already about halfway through the sprint race. This sprint race really goes by so very quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's
There's
not only
no.
because it's 6 laps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no time to recover. If you do make a mistake, like Ruan had a mishap in the beginning, there's not really enough time to recover from something like that.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, I'm still in 8th position, trying to find my way back.
And I'm trying to do my best to
Keep these two
Mr.
fast boys behind you. Yeah.
keep Dennis and Mr. Leandre behind.
So far, you're doing a brilliant job of it.
Yeah, you are.
Leandre, fastest lap there by the Charus Racing Point. As you see the Prima going defensive, trying to block that inside line from Leandre. They're doing a great job on the defense. Oh, and we see Josh going wide. Oh, no!
Oh!
Oh, no, Josh. That was an unsafe rejoin onto the track there. He's obviously, once you left the track, you need to make sure that it's safe to rejoin before doing so. So he's taken out Leandre. I think Dennis owes him a beer. That's relieved some pressure off Dennis there for sure, dropping Leandre back to P6, but he's already recovered back up to P5 now.
Yeah, I think for that one, I felt actually for both of the ones, I felt really bad because I stayed as close to the one side as I could so Leandre could go around. But obviously Leandre didn't expect it and he just clipped just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I think he was expecting you to stay off the track, until he passes because he already was on the racing line. So it wouldn't have been logical for him to veer off the racing line after you've left the track. Okay, so we're watching Dennis now chasing up on Mohammed here. He is gaining slightly, but Mohammed's already gotten himself a 5.5 second lead, obviously having no traffic to deal with.
Yeah.
Leandre is now behind Josh, currently about 0.7 of a second behind Josh currently. That does seem to be the closest. No, between Tristan and Ockett is the closest gap at the moment on the track.
Yeah, Tristan is fighting hard because he's got that 3-second penalty.
Looks to be lining Ockett up for the final straight and gets past Ockett there for P7.
Beautifully done. Leandre is lining up Josh here, getting some slipstream going on the inside line. Let's see if he gets this pass.
Oh, and Josh makes sure not to have a repeat of the previous incident. Well done there.
That was the one thing that was going through my mind. Firstly, leave me alone. Secondly, don't crash.
And you can see me tinkling there at the back behind Josh.
Yeah, it's already made yourself made your way back up to P6. So great fight there. But that again goes to add to what we said earlier. When you have bad luck, just put your head down and get the job done. He's just
definitely.
You never know what happens up ahead.
Definitely, yeah.
I think for me, the decision to let Leandre through was an easy one because I knew that he was faster than me, and I knew that he was gaining at a fair rate of knots, so I knew I wasn't racing him. My race was for
a good position, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was more for position than racing him because I know that he's ridiculously quick.
So Ruan seems to be catching up on Josh here at the moment, currently a 0.7 of a second behind him. I don't know if you're going to have enough time there with we are about to enter the last little segment here of the leader has just crossed the line for the last lap. So you're about 0.3 of a second behind Josh. You might be lining him up here on the final straight.
I think that was my idea.
There we go. Tristan scored a 2-second penalty again now for multiple warnings.
Josh, I did not know it was that close between the two of us there.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, and Josh has another look. Oh, and goes wide, misses his breaking point. Josh seems to have had a lot of issues with that first corner of this track. It really was not your friend, seeing as you messed up a few times on that turn one.
Yeah, it goes to what I said earlier. Like, I'm going to say this a lot in regards to this track. You either try and brake early and make it, or you brake late and completely go off.
Yeah,
that's great.
And in that instance, I was also kind of trying to be aware of where he was on the track because I didn't want to hit him.
Yeah, but you were also trying to battle him, and I guess just misjudging your braking point at that point. because it's an all or nothing at this point because it's the last lap. So you had to go for it.
Exactly.
So no criticisms on that part, and at least you stayed well clear of each other. So Leandre currently in P4. What a fantastic showing, after being taken out and dropping down to, I believe it was P6 initially. So really great job. We're looking at Mohammed coming around the final turn here to take the victory of the sprint race. Great job here by Mohammed.
Yeah, he's driven really well today.
And a second podium here by Dennis. Fantastic job by the Prima driver. I'm really happy with him. 2 podiums, 2 races. Fantastic. Look how close that is. Reese and that is very close. Lisa and Leandre, almost nothing between them there at the line.
0.3 of a second right there.
Sheesh. I think Leandre just was praying for another lap. he's just giving me one more lap. All right, we see then we see Josh, Akid, Tristan, and Khalifa, and then Enrico finish things up. Khalifa coming across the line now also.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's the driver of the day was. I think it must be Leandre.
I think so as well.
Leandre Bossoff for driver of the day. Yeah, no, he was fantastic and he's showing.
Definitely, he's worth that 1 million that we saw his contract.
Love the fighting spirit there, right?
Yeah.
Although I think by now it'll probably be more like 1.5.
By next season. Yeah, no, next season, if he maintains this, he's going to be fighting with the big boys next season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's where the big money's at. All right, thank you guys. This has been a great race. Now we can actually look at the final grid standings as it was after the steward decisions were all implemented. So for the feature race, we have Leandre actually in first, getting the 2 extra additional points for fastest lap. Dennis, Adrian, Tristan, Mohammed in 5th. So we did see the scoreboard or the feature race, the leaderboard actually did have a bit of a glitch there, dropping Mohammed from 5th to 8th, so we actually corrected that. Then there's Reese, Ruan in 7th place, Josh, Enrico, and Khalifa ending the points, and then Akid with a did not finish. For the sprint race, there wasn't much differences there. Still Mohammed first, Dennis second place, Reese in 3rd, Leandre in 4th, and also getting the 2 additional points for fastest lap. So both races, Leandre got those 2 points for that. Ruan in 5th, and then 6th in Josh, Akid in 7th, and 8th place being the last point for the sprint race is Tristan. Okay, and now we can actually have a look at where the drivers stand for this season. Ruan, if you want to talk us through this.
Yeah, so we can see Leandro is obviously first. He's got his 41 points right there. And Dennis second with 30, Muhammad 25, Reese with 18. Let me just wait for it to come around again. There we go, Adrian 15, Adrian, Tristan 13. It's gonna be close. This is obviously the first race of the season, and Leandro right now having quite a big gap between him and Dennis. Having 41 points,
Yeah.
But I think as the
but
season
something I also
progresses-
want to comment on, if you keep in mind, Dennis finished second place in both the races, but because Leandre scored pole position and got those additional 2 points for both races for the fastest lap, he actually scored a gap of 11 points to Dennis, which is
Definitely.
not to be sniffled at. It is really quite considerable.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
So yeah, this is going to be exciting stuff in the Formula 2 season this year. I'm really looking forward to it. So now if we're looking, we're going to have a look at the team standings here. Currently, we've got Jerus Racing Systems at 42, MP Motorsports, Ruan's team with Reese at 30 points equal to Prima Racing on 30. Then we've got Dams on 25, ART on 15, Compost Racing on 13, HWA with Josh in them and 8 points, and Universiosi on 2, as well as High Tech on 2. Colin, unfortunately, not scoring any points this round.
Yeah, so with Cherus and MP Motorsport, they're only two teams that had two drivers. That's why they're obviously so close. So well done to Prema Racing for actually tying with us with MP Motorsport and being the only race driver in that team right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, guys. So that concludes the racing for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a blast to commentate for you guys. And we'll see you guys again in about 3 weeks' time. The next race is on the 16th of April, where we will see the Formula 2 guys take each other on Vietnam. So thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear I weighed the person you are.